Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to the channel, please make sure to hit that subscribe button first, and also please make sure to hit the bell button so you know whenever I have a new video up in my channel. And also please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, a big like, alright? So today's video is all about suicide prevention because September is National Suicide Prevention Month. So are you ready? Okay, let's talk. Hey everyone, welcome to Therapy Talk, where we talk about all things mental health. My name is Lloyd and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and psychotherapist here in New York City, and I'm also the owner of a group private practice called Blue Harbor Psychotherapy. Alright, so as I said earlier, September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and suicide is actually a major public health concern in this country. It's actually one of the leading causes of death in the United States. I believe as of last check, it's ranked number 10. All right. And, it's an issue that affects a lot of people, not just the ones that are suicidal or who have attempted or have committed suicide, but also it affects a lot of people, their families, their friends, their loved ones. I know because, unfortunately, I had 2 friends who committed suicide. So this issue is very important to me, and it's it's very close to my heart. As a social worker, as a psychotherapist in my practice, my number one goal is to make sure that my clients are safe. So in this video, I hope that I can help you help others who are suicidal to make sure that we prevent that and to make sure we keep them safe. I actually did another video on suicide prevention a few years ago, so I'm gonna link that video up here. I hope I can do that. Alright, so you can check that video out. And in this video, I'm gonna share with you 5 actions that you can take, actually that you and I can take to help someone who is expressing suicidal thoughts. Alright, and a lot of the information I'm gonna share with you today I got from the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, all right, who is promoting hashtag #BeTheOne2. This is part of their message for National Suicide Prevention Month. Okay, so here comes the 5 steps or 5 actions that we can take to help someone who is suicidal. So the first thing that we can do is ask. This may sound very simple, but actually it's very, very important. Talking about suicide or talking about death can be uncomfortable. I know early in my career, whenever whenever a client of mine would talk about suicidal thoughts, that made me feel uncomfortable and sometimes panicky. And quite honestly, sometimes that's still the case, in my current practice. So whenever I hear someone talk about that, I still feel a little uncomfortable. There is a notion that talking about or asking about if someone is suicidal, or just talking about suicide in general, increases the likelihood that someone will think about it, will plan it, will go through with it. But actually, research has shown that by asking someone if they're thinking or planning to hurt themselves or others, actually reduces their suicidal ideation. So it's important to make sure that clients are safe. So when we create an environment where they feel safe, that includes asking them these questions, and also make sure that we ask them in a non-judgmental way. So by asking, we are acknowledging their pain. We're making their pain valid, and it also gives them this sense of safety and security, that they don't have to keep this a secret, and that it's okay to talk about it. So creating that environment and space for them to talk about it is very important, but that starts by asking. So the second thing that we can do is just to be there. All right, so be there with someone that is feeling suicidal. For a lot of them, they are feeling very lonely, they're feeling very depressed, they're feeling very isolated, hence they feel suicidal. So it's important for them to know that we care, that there are people that cares about them, and that they can talk to someone without feeling judged, okay? Feeling safe about talking about their suicidal thoughts. When I work with clients who are suicidal, I always work with them to make sure that we come up with what we call a safety plan. And that safety plan includes identifying people that they can talk to, whether it's a family member or a friend, and we make sure that on that safety plan, I ask them to make sure that they indicate their phone numbers of those people, so they can easily access that information and they can call that person if they're feeling suicidal. And also, I always make sure that they have the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number, and that is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. So if you know of someone who is maybe feeling suicidal, make sure that you're there for them. So the third thing that we can do is make sure that we keep them safe, okay? So it's important to make sure that clients have no access to any kind of lethal means of hurting or killing themselves, such as weapons or a gun, a knife, pills. So when I talk to someone who is expressing suicidal thoughts, I always make sure to ask them, do you already have a plan? And what is it? And then I work with them to make sure that they get rid of those, pills or weapons or any kind of lethal means that are thinking of hurting or killing themselves. I remember when I was working for a community health center years ago, there was a client of mine who expressed suicidal thoughts and was planning to do that by overdosing in pills. So I work with him to make sure that he gets rid of them, that he has no access to them. And actually, on our next session, he brought bottles of pills to my office to make sure that he has no access to them. So again, it's important to make sure that we keep, people that are suicidal, to make sure that we keep them safe. So the fourth thing we can do is to make sure that we help them stay connected. It is important to help people who are suicidal to create a network of resources and support. Whether that's, again, like I said earlier, the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, or maybe the address or phone number to their nearest emergency room, or maybe just a list of people that they can call, as I mentioned earlier. It's important that people who are suicidal have access to these resources, to these support, for them to feel connected, for them to feel supported. Okay, so when they're feeling down, they're feeling depressed, they can feel more they're not gonna feel helpless or hopeless. And finally, it's important that we follow up. Okay, so let's say someone called you talking about being suicidal, and you were able to help them by listening to them, giving them resources, or maybe you know someone who was recently discharged from the hospital because they expressed suicidal thoughts, or maybe they attempted suicide. So it's very important that we follow up with them. So call them, meet up with them, ask them, how are you feeling? How are you doing? How can I be of support to you? How can I be of help to you? So those questions are very important. And also to make sure that we follow up with them by making sure that they have the necessary resources and maybe services that they need to make sure that they continue to feel safe and hopeful and more positive. So whether that's services like going to therapy or any kind of program that can help them feel better and hence less suicidal, more hopeful, and not alone. So I hope all this information you found very helpful. I hope that you can share this video to your friends, to your family, or anyone that you know, because you just never know. You or any one of us can save a life. And again, the number to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that's 1-800-273-8255. Alright, so that's all for today's video. Again, I hope that you learned a lot, and I hope that you give this video a big like. And if you have any questions or comments, please make sure to put them down in the comment section, or you can email me directly. My email is lloyd@blueharborpsychotherapy.com. You can also check out our website, blueharborpsychotherapy.com. Alright, that's it for today's video. And as I always say at the end of my videos, I wish all of you to have a happy mental health day. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye!